looking back, it's a part of the natural growth experience, so I don't feel terrible that, you know, I learned some of these things later. These were fantastic growing experiences. But if you're starting college off this year, or maybe if you're in year 2 or 3 and you say, I want to amp up my game, or I could have done those first few years better, this video is totally for you. Hey there, modern women. Welcome back. Today we are starting off a new series, the College Prep Series. I went to a college, Furman University. I know, why am I not repping it? I cannot find the one shirt that I still have. I think I put it up in my winter clothing. So anyway, still, I loved my college experience. I'm 34, so I'm just far enough past it that I can really look back and say that I have gleaned from what I learned and grown up from it, but I'm still close enough to the experience to be able to speak to some things that you learn and grow through an experience in college. And there are 5 things that I wish I knew before I started college. Now, looking back, it's a part of the natural growth experience, so I don't feel terrible that, I learned some of these things later. These were fantastic growing experiences. But if you're starting college off this year, or maybe if you're in year 2 or 3 and you say, I want to amp up my game, or I could have done those first few years better, this video is totally for you. So I got my notes here. And the first tip is super practical. If you are a type A planner, I want you to stop, look, and listen. The first tip is to pack light and wait till you get there to find out what you're gonna need. I remember going to Walmart the summer before my freshman year of college, and I got some money, some college money from some aunties, and I'm like, I'm gonna use this money well, and I stocked up on so many supplies. And do you know that when I left school that first year, I packed up my parents' van to head back home for the summer, I had so much stuff. There were other more useful things that I could have used that money for. Pack the essentials, almost like you're going for a week or 2 vacation when it comes to hair care products, body care products, and things like that. And focus on the major stuff, clothing that you're going to need. If you live close enough to home, to use that to your advantage and leave some of your clothing there. You can always go back and pick it up. If that's not an option for you, definitely make sure that you have the essential for all seasons as far as your clothing is concerned, and also invest in the major stuff, like have a good laptop, have a good phone, or if people are still doing desktop computers back then, laptops were the thing, or they were super expensive when I was in school, so I had a good desktop Dell computer with a flat screen. That was a big deal back in the day. So anyway, and major in the major things, and those things like toiletries, don't worry about that. Make sure that you have a good hair dryer, a good curling iron. Pack the things that on the list they recommend for the dorm. By all means, have that stuff. But when it comes to the minor things, toiletries, essentials, even room decorations, wait till you get there to get that stuff set up. And also, bedding is going to be a big deal, and furniture. My freshman year roommate brought a futon, and that thing blessed me. I didn't even know that futons existed. I just had never seen one. But it was so great to have that in our room. So again, major on the majors, pack light on the things that are not essentials, like toiletries, small things, even food and snacks that you can pick up later, and make sure that you have that good stuff down. Point number 2, don't compromise on your friendships, and take the time to make the friends that you really want to make, that are going to make your college experience great. I know that I kind of looked at college as a chance to not necessarily reinvent myself, but to see if I could branch out and do some things differently, because people used to people definitely used to make fun of me for being staunch or rigid or a goody girl, and I didn't want to compromise on a lot of that stuff in college, but I just wanted to see maybe I should loosen up, maybe I should be more chill. That didn't work. I ended up testing out not things that I didn't like, but finding myself in situations that I wasn't comfortable with. I would maybe go to hang out with a couple of girls, and then they would want to go over to a guy's apartment, an upperclassman's apartment, to talk, and I just thought it was so boring and not enjoyable. We didn't watch a movie or play a game. They were just talking and making googly eyes at each other, and I was like, I don't really want to be here. This isn't for me. This isn't my cup of tea. And I couldn't really relate to a lot of the stuff they were talking about because they were into different things than me. Not bad stuff, just different. So that is the key thing. It is worth it to take the time to build the friendships, and that can be hard because I found myself feeling a little lonely that first year. I had acquaintances, but it took me a second to find the people that I could really click with. But when I did, man, oh man, it was great. So if you give yourself permission to take time to make friends that are really going to click with you, the right kind of friends that are your cup of tea, you know what I mean, it's going to really pay off. Number 3, if you're used to going to church, keep going. I know that sounds funny, and I'm not coming from the standpoint of go to church so that you do not fall into sin. I'm not coming from there at all. What I found was when I was able to connect with a really good church, I was able to connect with people who helped me in the self-discovery process. College, by nature, is a self-discovery process. You are changing, you're growing. For a lot of us, it's our very first time being disconnected with our parents or our guardians for a long period of time. We're away from our family. We're away from the friends that we grew up with. We're having to learn how to manage money on our own, manage time in a different way. All this stuff, like all of a sudden, you have to be super responsible with things that you may or may not have had to be, all of a sudden, you're having to be super responsible with things that you may or may not have had to be responsible with before. And that's tough. So if you're used to being connected to a church community, take time to explore, find the right community for you, because what's going to happen is you're going to be able to connect with people who can help give language for where you're growing. I needed that. So when I was able to connect with the church, there were people there who were looking out for me too, who loved me, who could help me out with, lots of different things. Wise friendship choices, what to do with a college major, how to handle my roommate situation, all different kinds of things. And it was a community that I felt safe in. Now, I visited several churches, and I didn't really find the church that I clicked with to the end of my freshman year. It was really funny because it was this church, I would see the sign going down the road all the time. I was like, what is that? That looks like a mall or an arcade store sign. And then one of my friends was like, you want to go to this church? And I was like, sure. Oh, this is a church. This building is back here. It was this mega church, but I loved it. So anyway, I do recommend that. I wish, that's something that was kind of ingrained in me. So I guess that one isn't so much a I wish I would have known. This is more of a 5 things that you should know before you start college. Cool. All right. Point number 4. Be honest, not ambitious with your major. Now, I'm not saying don't shoot for the stars or don't reach your dreams. My youngest brother, Emery, I remember asking him in 10th grade, do you know what you want to be when you grow up? And he said, I'm going to be an engineer. And lo and behold, that brother done studied. He went to college for 5.5 years. He studying on the summertime. He did a lot of summer studies, a lot of summer courses. And my brother is an amazing engineer. He was honest and ambitious, but he was honest about his ambitions. That's what I'm talking about. Me, on the other hand, I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. I want to be an obstetrician. Here's the thing. I was terrible at chemistry. Even in high school, I wasn't very good, but I was like, I can overcome. I took chemistry and biology my freshman year. I could not hack it. I am not a science person. I know some good basic algebra that gets me through the day-to-day, but I'm not a math person. I am language. I am art. I am music. I think if I had studied law, I could have been amazing at that. I currently work in the nonprofit tax law sector, but all that to say, I was not honest with my major and didn't play to my strengths. I was too ambitious, and I did end up with a major that really suited where I was going in life, even though at the time I didn't even know it. My major ended up being Spanish, and I get to use that on a daily basis on my job. I am a bilingual nonprofit specialist. Super cool. So when I was honest about what I was good at, what do I know? I know words, I know languages. I excelled in high school in English. Now, some people can say that a language major isn't super practical, and I would say, I was actually talking with one of my housemates about this earlier. When you're going to choose a major that's more general, you want to have an idea of where you can go. For me, in my mind, I thought, okay, Spanish, I can be a translator one day. I studied really hard with my Spanish, and it was good enough to get me the job that I have. That job came a few years after I graduated college, but nonetheless, my college degree, I'm using it because I was honest. I had a plan in mind about how I could use it, and that worked out for me. So you want to do the same thing. Be real about what you want to do. And the cool thing is, if you're at a college that's worth its salt, you're going to have professors who love what they do and really care about the students who will talk with you. I was considering a music education major because I really thought for a long time I wanted to be a teacher, and I love music and singing, and was pretty decent at music theory and all those different kinds of things. So I talked with one of the teachers or professors at my college who was so wonderful, so sweet. She gave me some information about the music education curriculum, what it was like, what it would take, and based off of that, I knew this major's probably not for me. As you're considering your major, consider what you want to do, the career goals that you have, but what would also be practical for you. And tip number 5 is this: don't set out to find yourself, set out to grow yourself. The idea that you've got to find yourself can sometimes breed this feeling of discontent or self-dissatisfaction. If you felt like, oh, college is the time for me to become someone new, you gotta hold up. You need to embrace who you are. There are wonderful, awesome, unique qualities about you that you just haven't discovered yet. So instead of saying, let me go to find myself, because that can lead you into some dangerous places of trying out things, because there are a lot of opportunities that you'll have in college, especially without that adult supervision that you're used to having, well, at least that I was used to having. That stuff can get you in trouble. Instead, set out to grow yourself. This is an opportunity for me to take a massive step to build the life that I want. And when you have that mentality, you will have a much healthier college experience. Trust me, I promise you, you will. Do you learn? Do you grow? Do you make mistakes? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. However, if you start off with the aspect that I'm great, and I want to build a great life for myself, I want to have great experiences, and you determine and set in your mind that I'm going to do things that are going to be good for me because I'm worth it, you're going to have a preset mindset that's going to lead you to the experiences, to the people, to the places that are going to build you up throughout your college experience. All right, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that you found something in this video that has been helpful or inspirational to you. Post in the comments and let me know what are some questions that you have about college experience that I haven't gone over. I'd love to do a video for you guys about that. Don't forget to like this video if it was helpful and subscribe to the channel, and check me out on Facebook and Instagram. I want to connect with you. All right, till the next video.